name is Hugh IV, and this is going to be my Musculoskeletal and Neuro video today. Not my normal hospital environment today, so excuse me as we conduct this at our house. First thing I would do when I go to do this exam is go in and do hand hygiene and introduce myself to my patient. The first thing I'm going to do is check their bracelet and ask them against that what their name and date of birth is, and they'll say patient and year of birth, and we'll go on with our exam from there, making sure we're not conducting something to the wrong patient. First, we'll start with our musculoskeletal. So, just going to working from the top down. Going to check range of motion for just simple things like your shoulders. Can you move your shoulders up and down, back, forth? Any pain with that? No? Okay. Can you hold your arms out to your side? Can you reach for the sky? Down low? No problem. Alright, much better your hands. Hold your hands out for me. Yeah, abduct. Yeah, there you go. Alright, I'm going to check for her radial pulse while I'm in here. Got real strong pulses. Not going to have any occlusions there today. So we're just going to continue working our way down. That's the basic part of the upper extremities, lower extremities. Are you going to be able to, can you stand up for me? Can you flex your hips okay? Kind of bend forward and back, side to side. Yeah. Now go take a seat. Can you move your knees, extend those out for me? Kick forward and back. Perfect. Can you flex your ankles in and out? Any pain there? No, what about your toes? Curl those toes in and out. Perfect. So we have all those in there. Of course, I'm inspecting for symmetry and of hair and things like that, and noticing if there's any differences there. And I'm not seeing everything. Everything looks fine. So as we go through with that, we're going to continue on. I'm going to feel her pulses back here on her legs, popliteals, pedis dorsalis on her feet. Those feel good. So no perfusion problems. Everything's perfusing fine. Her range of motion on everything is also just as good. We would also get a tool where we do DTRs, deep tendon reflexes. However, we're going to do that in the neuro part of this video, so that'll be later on. So as we check for this, we are going to have you stand up for me. So we're going to observe things for, we already checked for her joints and range of motion and everything, but now we're going to check for things like scoliosis and kyphosis. So what we do that is go ahead and can you bend forward for me? Normally what we do is, if for example if it was a male patient or a female doing a female patient, they'd bend forward and you'd observe for curvature in the spine. I'm not going to make her take her shirt off in this video. So, but you can also feel when she bends, could you flip for me again? Feel if the spine is straight and see if there's anything there, any noticeable things. No noticeable curve or anything. Again, we would normally look. Kyphosis, what that is that's when the back bends. And so what's going on here is, see if she has any stooped posture or a hunchback type thing. Could you go ahead and stand straight for me? Alright. Could you flex down for me one more time? See, got that straight back right there. Go ahead and flex your back the other way. And you can also feel back up, because you'll still have, even if they're flexing the opposite way, you'll still be able to feel that little bit of a bump. And she doesn't have that, so no kyphosis or anything like that, which would cause strain or anything later in life as that progresses. You go ahead. And actually, we're going to do something called the Romberg test real quick. All I'm going to have you do is go ahead and stand up. And I have you do is close your eyes. And then I would have her walk towards me, but we're in like a 2-foot space, so we're not going to do that. She passed it with flying colors. So her gait was steady. She stands up fine. Doesn't matter. For the sake of not making her having to walk through this whole place, her gait was steady. She stood fine. She could do it with her eyes closed. There was no swaying, no problems there or anything. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the neuro exam. Everything on her musculoskeletal system is checking out just fine. So as far as the neuro, you always want to check if they're alert and oriented. So you ask questions that are person, place, and time. So I'll ask her if she knows her name. Mm-hmm. She knows her name. You know where you're at. Mm-hmm. Where you at?
At home.
She's at home. And do you know what day it is?
Sunday.
What's the date?
October 2nd. Yeah.
Okay, it's October 2nd apparently. So then you can ask questions that, really you should ask harder questions than this, but you can ask, do you know who the president is? Obama. So things like that, kind of, I like these questions to get them oriented to time and everything and realize so they know where they are and how they are. So once you've done those simple things, you can move on with your neuro exam. They can be a little bit more complicated, different parts of the exam. So we did parts of this in the musculoskeletal. So one of the things that it said to test was the Babinski reflex, which is normally in babies, and they fan everything out as if they're falling, and you can stimulate that by brushing up the bottom of the foot. I'm going to do that here. She doesn't have that reflex. Everything's fine, just kind of brushed up the bottom. Nothing different than you would expect from a normal adult. Nothing really changed there or anything. So from there on, we just go on to test different parts of the neuro of the brain and everything. One of the exams we could do coordination and skill movements. Now, what most people want to do with that is they want to have, so for example, if you're in the office, you could have them, have their touch finger to finger. So I can just say with your right finger, put those together, put your fingers there, that's fine. If you could touch my finger with your right finger, touch your nose, touch my finger, touch your nose, touch my finger. All right, then switch hands. So touch my finger, touch your nose, touch my finger, touch your nose. This is also helpful in stroke. When we have stroke activations and things. This is a small part of the NIHSS that we use very commonly for stroke activations. You don't normally see this in a doctor's office, but if you do happen to have a ball, you can also test coordination, things like that. So you can just toss in the ball and see if their coordination and stuff's all right, which is fine. But again, that's not a normal test you see in the doctors. However, it is done with some kids, because some kids are easier to get out of their shell and stuff when you have a little ball for them. So some of the neuro things on here had a lot of the things that were in NIHSS, so which involves many different steps and things like that. But part of it also to test that was if you could lay down. What I'm gonna have her do is put her heel on her shin. If she would normally be flat on the bed, but again, I've got like a 4-foot area to work here. So put your bend your knee, put your heel on your ankle here, run it up your ankle and down, run up and down your leg. Nope, continue to do it with one leg, yeah. So she's got that good. Now switch. She can run that up and down, no problem. So no problem there. That's a pretty difficult movement, especially if you've had some brain deficiency to brain deficits. One of the other things we would test for is her field of vision with the neuro. So I could do this one of two ways. Normally what I'm going to have her do is I'll have her look at my nose, and you just tell me when you see the finger entering your field of vision, okay? You don't know which one.
Fine.
So she's got no loss of field of vision or anything like that. Another test I could test for is the accommodation and everything is continue to look at it and have her look at my nose, bring it in, and you can see if she has any visual field loss or anything like that in the sides. So that's part of that. Another part of the neuro exam they wanted us to make sure we hit, again, which is part of NHS, is any like sensory loss. So anything in the face, arms. So you can have a little pinprick, like a little pin to do it, or you can just use your finger and kind of brush up across it. So does that feel the same to you? All right, close your eyes for me. Which side am I touching?
Left.
Which side am I touching now?
Right.
How about now?
Both.
Okay, so you got that. Now on your arms. Hold your arms out for me. Can you close your eyes? Which side?
Both.
Both.
Left. Left. Right.
Alright. Does it feel the same to you?
Mm-hmm.
Any difference?
Mm-hmm.
No? Okay. So other things we could test for is the legs. Alright. Which side?
Both. Left. Right.
Alright, very good. And then you could test the feet.
Both. Left. Right.
Good job. So no sensory loss there. Any numbness, tingling anywhere? No, nothing there. So everything is normal for her. That's not something that we have to move on from there. Um, so again, those are just small parts of the IHS, but it's part of the neuro assessment. I continue on to ask different things, like she's obviously talking well, but there's certain key phrases we say, like 50-50 to check for any dysarthria or anything like that, where we just say certain phrases and the patient repeats it back. There's also some parts where we can get a little, it's kind of like pictures, it's got different parts on it, and the patient's made to describe all the things in the picture and what they see. Again, for the normal patient, this would be no problem, and they can do this real fast, but for someone that just had a stroke or is having a neuro issue, sometimes describing some of those things or word recall can be really hard. So we test no sensory loss, no problem with reflexes or anything like that. Really, the only thing left to do was, instead of doing the deep tendon reflexes in the musculoskeletal part, I decided to do it in the neuro part because that's how it was in our checklist. So, that's pretty simple to test for. You could just have your little hammer, your little tool, and you're basically just going to hit in all the reflex areas to elect the reflex response to make sure the nerves are all functioning properly and that they're working. So, for example, there's many different nerves, but in her knees here, I would just take it, pop it, it moves up, comes out, kind of jerks a little bit, same thing as the other. That one's dead apparently, so it doesn't move. Oh, there we go, it kicked. So it'll move, and that's how you look at the deep tendon reflexes and all the reflex positions. As far as just a basic musculoskeletal and neurologic exam, that's all I got for now. She's got a GCS of 15. I think she'll live, and that's my exam for the day.